Gun. Gun. Grenade.
Hey everybody, welcome back to Video Game Esoterica and our continuing series, the Unported playlist, where we take a look at now 21 of my favorite arcade games that never got home ports. And today we're taking a look at the Outfoxies, released by Namco in 1994, and it's running on their NB-2 platform. This game is awesome. It's really easy to describe. It's basically like Power Stone in 2D. If you like Power Stone, you're going to love this game. It's a 2D fighting game, but not in the traditional sense. It is more like a giant arena-based fighter. You see here I'm playing as this monkey in a top hat named Dweeb against Mr. White, and as you move around, the screen either scrolls or zooms in or zooms out, so you get a lot of look at the playfield depending on how far away you are from your opponent. And there are weapons everywhere. We have guns, we have grenades, you break open the crate for some damage on your opponent, and all of a sudden, you have a machine gun. It is a very hectic game, but when you're playing and you're playing well, it feels absolutely awesome. I can't say enough good about this game. But it's not one that I hear mentioned very often, which to me is very surprising because as far as the lineage is concerned, it does really feel like a prototype for that Power Stone type of gameplay. And Namco did a great job with this, making all the action feel hectic. And if you have two players, it feels even better. Because while the computer opponents are definitely fun to fight against, sometimes they can be cheap. You'll see here that first match is easy to win, but as you get further on in the game, the AI can be very predictive. But if you have two people playing this game at the same time, it's hectic, it's crazy, it's fun, and it's just an absolute blast to play. As far as how the game mechanics work, it's really simple. It's only a few buttons. You've got your jump, you've got your movement, and then you can pick up weapons and shoot them at each other. But friendly damage is an issue. In some stages, you're able to get a machine gun or a rocket launcher. The machine gun will give you a little bit of pushback, but if you're in the blast radius of that rocket launcher when it hits, you're going to damage yourself. And you'll see here on this stage, there are timed events, and you see that timer running up top. There is a bomb running through the stage, and at certain times within the match, something in the stage is going to happen to change it. So it's not just a static stage where you run around, break crates, and try to attack your opponent, but you also have to worry about environmental damages because there's sharks that will try to eat you. There's things that will fall down on you. So you're not just fighting against your opponent, you're also fighting against the stage and worrying about environmental hazards that could affect you in the same way. And you'll see here is Dweeb shooting off that rocket launcher and the gun. Some of the hectic nature comes from just how crazy those shots are. Some of them go high, some of them go straight, some of them go low. So you can't just pick a weapon and absolutely unload on your character, which I kind of do like, that the person with the biggest weapon isn't automatically going to be the winner. There is a lot of strategy in this game, being able to disarm your opponent, being able to get that weapon, and kind of move them around the stage so that your spacing plays to your advantage. Because some things here, like that grenade, as they start firing off, you have to get away from them. But you will see here, that bomb went off, and that water's running around, and now we have an electrical hazard that will damage you. And you'll see that grenade goes off when we get hit right into that helicopter and take a little bit more damage, but we did still manage to win. And that's what I love about this game so much, is that it's just crazy and out there and weird and hectic. The same way that Power Stone can feel really crazy and hectic, and even maybe to a lesser degree, a 4-player Smash Brothers game where there's just stuff going on all over the place and you really have to be paying attention to everything so you don't lose a match. As far as why this game wasn't ported to any home console, it came out in '94. I mean, it certainly could have run on the Sega Saturn, it could have run on the PlayStation 1, I don't know if the Nintendo 64 would have been able to handle it, but it moves around a lot of sprites, and it has a lot of scaling, so I think really it would have been a difficulty to try to get this into, the PlayStation 1 or the Saturn's RAM. Maybe the Saturn with the RAM cartridge could have handled it, but I do kind of understand why this maybe didn't come home. But as far as an arcade release, it's absolutely amazing, and you definitely owe it to yourself to play it. If you like fighting games, if you like Power Stone, if you like Smash Brothers, you're definitely going to enjoy the Outfoxies. And what I'd love for come from this video is that more people learn about it and actually get a chance to play it and appreciate it, because while it is an awesome game, it isn't mentioned that much compared to some other 2D arcade games that were never given ports. So I think it's a game that definitely needs to be checked out some more and really enjoyed, because I think there could really be a good community enjoying this game, playing it, and really getting a lot out of it. Because more than anything, what I really want the Unported playlist to show is that there's a lot of games out there that you can play and experience that are absolutely worth your time checking out that you maybe never heard of. Games that would have been really well reviewed and really loved had they come out on consoles, but just didn't. Games that have sharks swimming in tanks that will bite you if you fall down onto them, or whales suspended in midair that can crash down on you and take damage. And that's where the Outfoxies really shines, is all these little elements. You see there that Betty Doe just got bitten by a great white, and there's just all these little things to worry about, to watch out for, all the detail, all the kind of like scrolling and zooming in the stage, just things I really love. I would say the game can sometimes feel a bit cheap. The difficulty gets pretty high in later levels, but of course it's an arcade game, so what are you going to do? It was designed to take your quarters. You can see here I have Betty Doe on the run, but very quickly I just get nailed by a couple bullets and I am completely done. So the match can turn very quickly, and I do appreciate that there's a lot of sort of give and take in those matches. But what you do now is I'm going to let you watch this match coming up. We lose very quickly, but I want you guys just to get a little sense of the gameplay. The soundtrack's great, and then I will come back right after that and talk a little bit more about the Outfoxies and close the video out. But enjoy this match. I do very poorly.
Machine rocket launcher. Rocket launcher. Machine gun. Machine gun. Betty Doe won.
And you'll see I did very poorly there. And I would say one of the downfalls of the game is that the player characters, they aren't very well balanced. Some are complete tanks that can take a lot of damage and dish out a lot of damage, and some get damaged a lot more and they don't have the best mobility or range. So as far as the game's concerned, the balancing can be a little bit of an issue, but it's not so bad that you can't pick your favorite character and definitely do well with them. And Namco was really great at making arcade games. They don't get mentioned, I feel like, in the same conversations as Capcom or Sega do, but they had some absolutely incredible games in the 90s, the entire Point Blank series, things like the Outfoxies. So you owe it to yourself to check out a lot of the games they do have. And you just saw there, I took a rocket launcher to the face, but Betty Doe took the same amount of damage. And I do love the strategy involved of having to make sure that some of your weapons are safe to use, because you can get that splash damage and you're not just worrying about what you're doing, but you're worrying about how that's going to affect you as well, because if you're in the wrong place at the wrong time, that attack can damage you as much as it can your opponent. It can actually put you at a disadvantage. But I think the best part about this game is just how alive the stages feel. There's always something happening, there's always something moving, and there's always something that you need to look out for or worry about. You can see there that there was 3 different active grenades on that whale. That's not a sentence you get to say that often. And we were able to win the match based on that, even though we took damage. So sometimes, if you have enough health bar, taking intentional damage to yourself to be able to inflict damage on your opponent is going to be a good strategy, because it doesn't matter how much life you end the stage with. You just want to make sure that your life bar is going to last a little bit longer than your opponent's. Now you'll see here as we're going up against Professor Ching, the levels get way crazier. We're going to start seeing conveyor belts and all sorts of other different environmental hazards that just make the game feel completely, at some points in time, uncontrolled. But that's what I think really makes the game feel special, because you're not just fighting against the opponent character. You're dealing with the stage, you're dealing with the hazards, you're dealing with navigation, you're trying to get guns that are going to be strong enough. So really, it's just everything is being thrown at you all at once, and it just feels, when it clicks, like an amazing game. But I will say, when you first play it, it might seem a little bit difficult, it might seem a little haphazard, it might seem too difficult. What you really need to do is just keep working through it, and as you get better at the game, it really opens up and starts feeling like an incredible experience. So as far as the Outfoxies is concerned, huge recommend. Definitely go out there, find it, play it. If you want to buy it, it'll run you around $500. One just sold, and I almost bought it, but I talked myself out of it at the last minute because I don't need another arcade PCB right now. But short of that, that's the Outfoxies. 100% play it. It's great. But if you do us a huge favor, go down below, hit like and subscribe. It definitely takes us a lot of time to make each one of these episodes. We will be back next Sunday with another arcade unported game, and we'll be back on Tuesday and Friday with another episode in our mainline series. Short of that, thanks so much for watching, and we hope you have a good rest of your weekend. We have died. Bye-bye.